Have you watched Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai? Because unlike Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, it is straight gas. And for those of you that see this photo and think,
Ew, weeaboo anime degenerate trash. I bet you watch hentai and can't get real bitches.
first of all, eat my ass. Second of all, it is not at all what you think it's going to be. Bunny Girl Senpai knows exactly what it's doing with its promo art and title. It makes you think it is a fan service riddled cheap boob gag harem rom-com, but then it takes all those tropes and does the complete opposite. In fact, this show commits so hard to being the opposite of those tropes, it isn't even a rom-com. It's actually a character drama that explores relationships and insecurities manifested as the supernatural phenomenon known as puberty syndrome. Not to state the obvious, but I'm a big fan. I mean, I'm literally making a video about it. So naturally, I was over the moon when we got not one, but 2 movie sequels in 2023. And no one is talking about it. I was really confused as to why. Like, was this show not as good as I remembered it being? So I decided to rewatch the series and see if maybe my rose-colored glasses were elevating this show a little bit too high. Spoiler alert, they only did a little bit. To preface, the general structure of this show is that a girl has some sort of supernatural happening involving their insecurities or issues. Sakuta, one way or another, believably, decides to help them solve the problem, leading to all sorts of character growth and witty interactions that wrap up in emotional climaxes. So what is it that makes this show so good? Is it the main character being an absolute Chad and not a doormat? Is it the attention to details in both plot and animation? Or is it the natural and entertaining interactions between all of the characters that serve as emotional gut punches and also heartwarming catharsis? Yes. Let's start with main character Sakuta Asusugawa. As I've hinted at, he's great. With a sarcastic personality and real stakes in the story through his own experience with puberty syndrome and his sisters, the story sets up a sympathetic protagonist with reason to help the afflicted persons he encounters. As I mentioned before, he's also a Chad. Unlike a lot of spineless protagonists in anime, he doesn't get flustered or back down from conflict. Take this scene where he's told off by Kamisato, his best friend's girlfriend.
さあ、話あるんだけど。単刀直入に言うけど、今後ユーマとは喋んないで。
別に国見と上里さんが付き合ってるのを邪魔してるつもりはないんだけど。
そういう意味じゃなくて、病院送り事件のことみんな知ってる。
ああ。
喧嘩売ってんの？
買ってるんだよ。そんなにイライラして生理か？
With a stone cold face, this man beats this girl at her own game and dishes everything she gave right back. He is crass as hell, and he also rectifies the greatest sin committed in anime. He calls out that stupid indirect kiss gag, which is never funny. His sass is a key part of what makes him so interesting. When his girlfriend, Mai, he's actually like committed to one girl, teases him about having lewd thoughts because she grabbed his arm, he deadpan turns to her and he says, "My thoughts are 100 times more lewd than you're imagining." Most characters would get flustered and start thrashing about, but not Sakuta Asusugawa. He knows what he wants. And while his attitude is key, it's not the only aspect of his character because he deeply cares for his friends and Mai. That isn't really the most original trait, but it is showcased well and it's justified beyond him just being a nice dude. As the series goes on, he does let his guard down more and more, and we see a little bit less of that sarcasm. Just look at that dopey smile he's got on his face when Mai comes to visit him. He just has this happy-go-lucky energy about him that kind of helps to show that maybe that biting sarcasm is partially a mask to hide the burdens that he carries. Overall, we get to see so many layers of a character who's substantially different and more well-developed than most anime protagonists in adjacent genres. And a lot of this detail and development is made possible from the care in the writing and animation. Characters have subtle expression changes that make you believe there's so much more going on beneath the surface. Minor spoilers for the last arc. Watch Sakuta's expression in the scene where Kaede steps outside for the first time.
今日はこのくらいで勘弁してやってもいいんじゃないか。なんたって靴を履けたんだし、成果としては十分だって。
嫌です。楓は怖いんですよ。楓はこのままでいるのが怖いんです。ずっとこのままだと思うと怖いんです。
そっか。そうか。そうかもな。
Not only is this just a really wholesome moment that the show has built up to since episode 1, but we also see the conflict in Sakuta's face after a second watch. He doesn't want to push Kaede, but part of his concern comes from what happens when she leaves the house. I don't think it's a stretch to say he was thinking about the potential return of her puberty syndrome. The other characters have similar developments that make them feel alive. Sakuta's homie and science club chef. Like, seriously, where was she keeping the squid? She gets a whole arc, and a key part of that is her crush on Sakuta's best friend. Even before her arc starts, this crush gets established in a believable way. Futaba says practically nothing. Her only line is morning. And while she's a bit more reserved, she is by no means a stoic woman. And then as the scene progresses, we see her looking away from Kunimi. Once it's very clear that Kunimi's focused on Sakuta, signified by the shot change, she shifts her eyes back towards him. So much is expressed about her and her relationship to Kunimi in this scene, and she only says one word. We can gather that she's uneasy around him, likely because of a crush based on how she looks at him. It may also suggest a little bit of shame about liking him because he's got a girlfriend. Let me reiterate that Futaba is not the focus of this arc, so this adds to the idea that these are real people. Her feelings towards Kunimi aren't isolated to her section of the story, they're built up as soon as they share screen time. Every arc character is somehow shown or mentioned in the previous arcs, and it makes everyone feel like they're living their own lives separate from what we see. Even the less significant moments help to create a world that doesn't take you out with jarring movements and awkward animation. Like in the previously mentioned scene where Sakuta helps Kaede step outside, watch the way he steps forward and she has to re-grab her brother.
まだ先だな。もう少しだぞ。
They don't stay together. It gives a sense of real movement and consequences to their action because holding on to someone while they walk is incredibly awkward. These moments are all over the place. Like when Sakuta first meets Koga in the beginning of the series, watch the way she scoots out from under the podium. She doesn't just kick her foot back, she duck walks backward until her head has enough clearance because she's in an awkward position. It's awesome. The animation at worst isn't jarring, and at best it adds layers to its characters outside of the dialogue. And this attention to detail is the cherry on top of what are already superb character interactions. The show takes a refreshingly real take on relationships between characters. Mai and Sakuta actually care about each other and are secure in the relationship. When Sakuta's ex-crush comes around again, Mai doesn't stop him from going to see her. She understands Shoko is important to Sakuta and that since she just kind of disappeared into thin air, he'd probably want to go see her again. It avoids the annoying drama of Mai being jealous and shows they have a healthy relationship built on trust. Unsurprisingly, the small moments, like them cleaning up after dinner together, contribute to this partnership that is built and grounded in mutual respect. That doesn't mean that the relationship is perfect. I mean, Mai does slap Sakuta unjustly a few times, but overall it is way healthier than many other portrayals in anime. And despite how pleasant their relationship generally is, it pales in comparison to my favorite interaction of the whole series during Futaba's stint with puberty syndrome. Sakuta calls Kunimi well past the witching hour, telling him that Futaba's in trouble. So, being the true homie he is, he rushes out to go help, and instead of chewing either of them out, he's relieved everyone is okay. After Kunimi asks what next, the Chad Sakuta pulls out sparklers and says, "Guys, let's go to the beach." And so they play with sparklers on the beach. I feel like it's so rare we get to watch friends just being friends without any drama. They're just homies hanging out at the beach, vibing together under the stars at like 2 in the morning. If that's not a mood, I don't know what is. And this scene puts a smile on my face every time I see it because it reminds me of the 3 a.m. bike rides and late night talks my friends and I used to have in high school. And because of that, this has not only become my favorite scene in the whole series, but one of my favorite scenes in any anime ever. It's solidified for me that the interactions between everyone are what truly make this show special. With well-defined characters that are steeped in supernatural happenings, it somehow creates moments that are more grounded in the human experience than most slice-of-life shows. There's a reason it pulled me back into anime and stuck with me when I watched it in freshman year of high school. It's definitely not perfect. I mean, some arcs are better than others, and despite subverting a lot of tropes, the audience is still very clearly 16-year-old boys, and as such, caters to them. But it is undoubtedly deserving of the 3 movie sequels that it has. If you're interested, it's 12 episodes, which really isn't that big of a commitment in the anime scene. And if you think 12 episodes is too much, I met a man who caught up to One Piece at 950 episodes in 1 month. For reference, that's about 26.3 days. Rascals Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai has a very distinct character and voice, and for that reason, it will always have a very special place in my heart.
あなたの